It's always a great pleasure to be with you and a great challenge, I have to say, because whenever I begin to prep for a lecture or a lesson, or certainly not a sermon, a lesson or a lecture like this one, I find myself challenged to embrace the truth that is being revealed to me. So I invite you, first and foremost, to just bring yourselves to this place. Bring yourself to a place of calm and relaxation. We all know that it's necessary if we are to be open and visionaries to let go of everything that constricts and limits us. And one of the ways we do that is by just breathing and letting go and being present. I encourage you to repeat in the silence of your own heart or out loud if you feel like it, these next 3 statements. I am relaxed. I am breathing. I am comfortable. And with that, we know that we are home. Home to ourselves, home in this, our spiritual community, and home on this planet. I invite you to take a journey of reflection with me. These days, I find I am more and more involved with a wide range of people with very different beliefs, religious or otherwise, customs, dress, and attitude towards life. It could be one of these qualities that comes up against me. It could be many of them. And sometimes I struggle understanding those differences. And yet maybe it's more about changing my perspective. Am I stuck by how different people show up in life from one another? And yet, I intuitively know that we are deeply connected, that we are one. Despite all of our differences, we are one. Many of our observations are based on a finite outlook, on a limited perception. It is only when the eye views the world as one vast plain of possibility, one boundless reach of sky, that one truly sees. So breathe with me into this present moment. It is only when the eye views the world as one vast plain, one boundless reach of sky, that the eye truly sees. And so I breathe now into that vast, timeless place of love. I let go. I let go of those boundaries that I have imposed that keep me away from what is true. I let go of beliefs that bind me to a limited perspective. I let go of judgments that confine me. Oh my, this is a stretch, a big stretch. It's a big stretch not to go back to what is comfortable and known. It is a big stretch to trust and fall into the vast unknown. It's the only way. It is the only way to see the good, to see the true, to see the beautiful. It is the only way to love and learn and celebrate the uniqueness of all of us within the one. It is only when my eye views the world as one vast plain, one boundless reach of sky, that I can see truly. This is the vision of God. It is only then that I look at life and see with the vision of God.
There's a place for you at my table. If you're broken, you are welcome. If you're outside looking in, come on in now. If you have no place of your own, my door is open. It's always open. Anyone who feels you don't belong, anyone who feels afraid and not that strong, and if you wanted to be confident but you just weren't able, there's a place for you at my table. If you're broken, you are welcome. And if you're outside looking in, come on in. And if you have no place of your own, my door is open. and every pilgrim when the road ahead seems long. It doesn't matter where you go, you're never too far gone. And even if you've lost your way and been unfaithful, there's a place for you at my table. If you're broken, you are, even if you're outside looking in, come on in. If you have no place of your own, my door is open. It's always open. If you're broken, you are, even if you're outside looking in, come on in. If you have no place of your own, my door is open. It's always open. My door is open. It's always open.
I've known Marcus for a very long time. And one of the things that I know about him, and you've just witnessed it, is the authenticity of this man and how it comes through his music and his voice and how who he is and what he is and what he believes is available as soon as he opens his mouth. Namaste, my friend. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. So, when I get a call to speak, one of the first things I do is I take my worksheet and I put it on my desk. In this case, my chart table. And it sits there during the week. And what I do is I just fill in the elements as they show up in my life. And show up, they do. A few weeks ago, I was in Victoria, and I had felt the need to go and visit my mother's grave. And without going into too much trouble, or too much discussion, my relationship with my mother was quite troubled and difficult in a lot of ways. And so when I feel as if there's something moving or happening in me, I go and try and process it with her. And I'm enough of a New Thought person to realize that when people leave the planet, it's not as if they have any place to go. They just sort of leave this realm that we see them in, and they're still here in a realm we don't see them in. It's pretty straightforward. So I went to the graveside. I brought 4 white roses, one for each of her sons, and placed them on the grave. And then I decided I would just stay there for a while. My mother's grave is on the brow of a hill, a little hillock more than a hill. And next to it is a tree, quite a large tree, and a bench underneath. And I went and sat on the bench for a while. And I remember saying to her, you know, Mom, I just really want to be free of all of this stuff. And she knew what I meant. And as I sat there, a breeze came up and blew right at me and over me and passed. And then the air was still again. And I knew that, not that I was free, but that I had her permission and her guidance to be free. And since then, I've been experiencing a lot of dramatic changes in my life. Yesterday, for example, I buried 3 brothers who had all died within the last 14 years, rather. The 3 sons of a man who had lost all of his boys. It was a difficult experience. So difficult, in fact, that when I led the congregation at the graveside in the Lord's Prayer, I broke down. I couldn't continue. What is coming to me now is that, and I think Mark Nepo, who someone you are very familiar with, said is there's the doing solving, and then there's the being solving. And we have been mesmerized into believing that all of our work is in the doing solving. We have to do the right things, we have to be the right, we have to make the right choices, we have to be in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing. And I wrote this down. The greatest fallacy of our life is to believe that our outcomes are determined by what we do. It's never about what we do, but about the intention and thought behind it, and the belief structures that support those intentions. The belief structure that supports those intentions. The Promise of New Thought Liberation Theology by Reverend David Alexander. I've been critical of this book at the same time as I have been inspired by it. I've been critical of it because I question new thought cozying up with traditional theology. Basically because I think what distinguishes us is that we do not have a traditional theological approach. And yet all the research I'm doing makes me realize that our thought and our approach to theology is in fact more traditional and more fundamental than I have thought. And as a matter of fact, it is ancient. The word theologian comes from 2 Greek words, theos and logos. And theos, of course, meaning God, and logos meaning the word. And so a theologian is somebody who speaks about God. Theologion is that the speaking about God. That means that we are somehow a knower of something, or have a perception of something that we call God, that requires that we dig deeper into it, number one, and then that we speak about it. David Alexander's book, Freedom from Discord, is based on a statement of belief from Ernest Holmes' Declaration of Principles. It's my favorite of all of them for a number of reasons. One is that it is the most stirring of what is possible for us as humanity. And 2, the absolute conviction that he brings to it, and I'll quote it for you. He says, "We believe in the complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be achieved by all." I'm going to say it again because I really want you to get the expanse of that idea. We believe in the complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be achieved by all. That's quite a statement. It draws probably on a depth of faith that I speak from experience I don't always have. Sometimes when we're caught up in the, the minutia of trying to live a good life, or even make the life that we've got make sense, we easily lose sight of that, what I referred to as the belief structure that supports us. I'm going to move into the challenging and not too welcome territory of consciousness as cause. And let me explain that a little bit. Consciousness, first of all, is that vast knowledge that we have, conscious and unconscious, of everything that has been known in the history of our species and probably beyond. Consciousness is what Jung called the collective unconscious. And I want to give you an image to think about. Imagine this circle. And inside the circle is everything that is known. Everything in the unconscious. And on the periphery, on the circle itself, there is a tiny little opening. And that tiny little opening is called the conscious mind. And everything inside that circle is trying to get out. And it has only one way, and that's through that tiny opening. So I'm here with you today to court that opening, to encourage the courage that it takes us as a species, as people, as individuals, to open ourselves up to that vast wealth of unconscious and how it is cause to our experience. What we think, what we believe, what we hold on to as the truths of our experience, our attitudes and our opinions are creating our life. Make no mistake about it. That which is within our consciousness is the cause to what is the effect, so to speak, of our lives. I began talking about the vision of God. Now I'd like to talk about the love of God. Just as we are called to see with the eyes of God, we are called to love with the love of God. And what that means for me is I must constantly question what I think God is. For those of you out there who hear me say the word God too frequently, and by the way, I've been accused of that a lot, I want you to entertain the possibility that your challenge with the word God is a challenge with your idea of God. With the idea that you have of that thing which we have named God, and which I now always spell as G-D. For a very simple reason. I recognize that the God that I recognize, or I'm thinking of, or the idea that I have, is unlike any idea that exists in this room today. because each and every one of us has a different experience of that numinous reality, that larger-than-life mystery that we call God. And so rather than seeing God as the answer that we are clinging to for what is the truth, we are actually called to see God as the mystery, as a question mark, and then realize that this God, which I recognize, is greater. If you think you know God, then it is not God that you know. Any God, any greater than, any numinous reality, or any mystical reality that can be enclosed by my tiny mind is not big enough. And this is the challenge that's facing us right now, is that how we see the world is not big enough. And the role that we have in this world is not big enough either. But the role that we have in this world is not to do more, but to be more. And the only way that we can do that is to know that which we are more. You see, the invitation about spiritual life is to fight the status quo. In a universe that we know is constantly expanding, racing out into infinitude at a speed that we cannot possibly even fathom, can you imagine that that energy is going to support you in staying the same? Do you realize what a nonsense that is? And when I say you, I mean everything about you and about me and about life. We are called in this time to increase our spiritual capacity for love, for wisdom, and for compassion. To bring the best of ourselves to the world, whatever the best of ourselves looks like. And to know that it's always going to look better because the universe does not support the status quo. It supports expansion. It supports growth. If growth isn't happening, then we have to ask why. And the only answer is, well, because I'm not growing. It is ours to preserve with clarity, with the eyes of God, to be calm in chaos. Take a breath into that one. To be calm in chaos, which means to be unafraid. To be the presence of good and a witness to the good. I watched a little short on, by the way, I want to thank whoever is responsible for this, for all the samplings of my previous talk. I've been seeing them on YouTube, and it's, I never like seeing myself on camera, but it's kind of nice to think that you think those are worth posting, so thank you. I watched a short one the other day where a young fellow was saying that he was thinking, how does it feel to know that music is the purpose of your life? And he said, well, music is not the purpose of my life. He says, if I had an accident, my vocal cords were crushed and I couldn't sing, or if my fingers were crushed and I couldn't play, or if my brain was damaged and I couldn't think of lyrics or write music, does that mean the purpose of my life is gone? He said, no, the purpose of our life is not that. And he goes on to say, but the purpose of our life is clearly outlined. Be joyful always. Pray continuously. And give thanks in all circumstances. That's from St. Paul, by the way. Be joyful always, pray continuously, give thanks in all circumstances. Or as it is said in the prophet Micah, act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. Do you notice that aside from walking, there is no action in any of those? It is what I would call the posture of our heart. The posture of our heart. It is to know our connection with the One, to foster that connection, to love that connection, to value it. And that's where I've been this week, struggling to value my connection with the One. And I'll tell you what it looks like. I have a prayer partner that I have been in contact with. He and I pray together every Sunday and have done for 24 years. Every morning, every Sunday morning, we get up, we talk about how our week has been, what our life has been like, and then we pray together for each other. And he shared with me today, among some of the struggles that he is having, that a mutual friend of ours, and she is now struggling financially and is appealing to various people that she knows to help her. These are difficult times. And the difficult times we believe in, or that we are living in, are a result of having lived through one of the most prosperous times in the history of the world. Thanks to the builders that preceded us, who made it through the Depression and the Second World War, we were left with something wonderful that we could throw ourselves into as boomers and make the best world that has ever been known to man by any group of people. If you were sitting in this room, you were in the top 1% of the wealthiest people on the planet. Now, granted, there are multimillionaires that are much richer than we are, but their number is so infinitesimal, with the teeming millions out there. And so we have a generation after us that says, well, you told us that we were entitled to have anything we wanted. And we did. Because we told ourselves we could have anything we wanted, and we made it happen. By circumstance. We made it happen for some of us. Not all of us. The fact of the matter is, we were never more needed as a consciousness than we are now. It is not to create a status quo, but it is, in fact, to move us from where we are into our next great expression. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I have no idea what our next great expression is going to look like. And neither does any one of you out there. We have glimpses. We certainly have hopes. But what we do have is what Ernest Holmes said in his Declaration of Principles. And I encourage you, look it up. It's a wonderful document. But what we have is this sense that good, if it is good, is forever and ever expanding. That my friend, struggling as she does, is still in a place where good is possible, good and greater good, forever possible. And so I encourage you today, I realize I'm running on a little bit today. I encourage you today to think over the next week, where you have come from. Just think about what it was like for you as a child, the circumstances you came out of, and how much better you are than you were then. I know I am. And then think about where you are now, with all of the good that you have and the challenges, but recognizing that you are still better than you ever have been. And then think of where you are bound. Where you are bound. You are bound, as we all are as a species, for a greater and greater expression of good. And we must be contributors and co-conspirators in that greater expression of good, in whatever way we can. I want to defer back to Marcus. Marcus, what you sang makes you, in my mind, the co-conspirator along with me to the greater good that we look toward. And you listening to me today, I enlist you formally today as co-conspirators with me in the greater good they were all looking for. So ends the lesson, and so it is. Namaste.
As I was in my quiet place, that well of hope deep down inside my heart, I heard a word. It was so sweet and clear, it spoke to me of how our lives were meant to be. Well, I'd heard this word before, but this time, like an open door, I walked through. And this time I knew that I have, and you have, and I want, and you want, and I need, and you need love, 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 love. Someone asked the question that if God was truly love, why was there so much pain? So much pain. Well, it ain't no mystery that we are one big family conceived in love, but we've lost our way home. Why did we roam so far? Oh, because I have, and you have, and I want, and you want, and I need, and you need love, 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 love. Oh, mercy, mercy me. Oh, things ain't what they're supposed to be. Just listen to your heartbeat, yeah, to find the things your heart sees. Oh, to find your way home. Oh, because I love, 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 love. Oh, I have it, and you have it, and I want it, and you want it, and I need it, and you need love, 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 love. Hey, you need love. Hey, and I need love. You need love.
Give it up one more time for Marcus Mosley and Brenda Baird. And thank you again, Terry. Oh my goodness, Terrence, for sharing such practical insights for us today. Did you get it? Yes. Good news. The city has approved our park reservation change date, and we have rescheduled our outside picnic for Sunday, September the 22nd. Same place, same time, corner of Southwest Marine Drive and Balsam. And please note that it might be a busy time, so we want everybody to get there and bring a dish to share and a musical instrument and any talent that you might want to provide some entertainment. If you are interested, we actually have a new workshop coming up. This 2-hour introduction to Course in Miracles is for people who are curious to learn more about it. We will cover in this workshop many topics and the outline of the ACIM program to all of you and to all of you who want to get started. This will be held on Sunday, September the 15th from 2 to 4 p.m. So be sure to watch on our website for more details. And of course, do not forget that on Tuesdays you can attend our Course in Miracles study group live from 12:30 to 2:30 here at Unity in the lower level. If you have questions on this or any events, please feel free to ask at the bookstore after the service. And of course, you're going to join us downstairs in the lower level after the service for tea and coffee. And while we are downstairs providing coffee and cookies, at 12:30 today, Roy Prevost and Terry Collette, can you stand up, Terry? They will be sharing about our upcoming online auction, and they have been working so hard on this project for months now. And so they will be sharing some details on how we're going to be fundraising for our new building. And at the same time, we are also helping Covenant House in the efforts to help homeless youth. So please pull up a chair for the Unity Covenant House auction update at 12:30. Our affirmative prayer chaplains today are Melba Burns, Jeannie Bell Irving, Raymond Lancaster, and on Zoom, Marilyn Norrie. Would you please stand? We are so grateful to our chaplains, and they will provide confidential prayer with you. You simply come to the front after the music is finished, and we will find that a chaplain will be here in the front row and happy to support you in prayer. And if you're watching on Zoom, we'll show you how to participate in just a few moments. Also, just a reminder, September the 11th is the Unity World Day of Prayer 2024. It emphasizes the prayer power of collective prayer to bring about positive change, healing, peace in individuals and community. The theme is Fueled by Faith, I can move mountains. The prayer chaplains at Unity wish to honor this special day by inviting you to submit a prayer request on a form that we will find and you will find in the bookstore. If you have a particular issue or situation that lies heavy on your heart, but you feel powerless to address it alone, know that combined faith and collective prayers will move mountains. The Unity Prayer Chaplains will hold these requests in prayer on September the 11th, and we invite those on YouTube and Zoom to also submit prayer and a prayer request at unityofvancouver.org, and those will also be included on September 11th. We also want to let everyone know that we will be holding a celebration of life for Austin, Reverend Austin Hennessy. We did make that announcement that he did pass in Ireland on July the 24th, and they will be flying back from Ireland, Reverend Mary and family, and we will be hosting at 2 o'clock on September the 7th, a celebration of life. You will hear more about it because, of course, Austin was a force for good, and Austin was a force for love. And so we will be so blessed to celebrate his life that day. Today is birthday Sunday, so make sure you get down and have a piece of cake and celebrate if you've had a birthday in the month of August. And now, as we bring our gathering to a close, please stand and let us together say our prayer for protection. All together now. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Please remain standing for our peace song.